So how does a giant company keep track of every single supplier they work with? I mean, it must be complicated, right? Well, what if I told you it works a lot like your Instagram feed, where you follow, you mute, and yeah, you even block certain creators? Let's dive in and see how SAP's source list is basically the ultimate influencer list for a company's entire supply chain.
Yep, you heard that right. We're going to break down a really core concept in SAP by comparing it to something you probably use every single day. So forget those dense, complicated manuals for a minute. We're going to see how following the right vendor can completely automate how a company buys things, all thanks to a super smart procurement algorithm.
All right, so first things first, what in the world is a source list? In our little analogy here, just think of it as your master list of all the accounts you follow. It's your perfectly curated feed of all the potential suppliers for any material you can think of.
Okay, now for the official, kind of nerdy definition. The source list is a record in SAP that tells the system which vendors you can buy a certain material from, and, this is key, during what specific period of time. It's the one single source of truth for who you've approved, just like your following list is for you. And here's the crucial part. Not all vendors are created equal, right? Just like on your social feed, you can put them in different buckets. Some are your absolute favorites, your go-tos. Others are just kind of allowed. And then there are the ones you need to block. Each of these settings is part of what we can call the vendor's profile.
So yeah, every single entry in that source list is essentially a vendor's profile. It's got all the key details the system needs to make really smart purchasing decisions for you, and it does it all automatically.
And this right here shows you the two most powerful settings you've got. Marking a vendor as fixed is like pinning your favorite creator to the very top of your feed. SAP will always choose them first, no questions asked. And on the other side, blocking a vendor, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It makes it impossible for anyone to accidentally place an order with them ever again.
And here's what it actually looks like inside SAP. I know, it might seem a little intimidating, but it all comes down to these two tiny little checkboxes, fix and block for block. That's it. That's the control center. A single click right there decides if a supplier is your go-to source or if they're totally off limits.
But wait, there's more to the profile. You've got validity dates. Think of these like an Instagram story. They set a specific period where that vendor is a valid option. You know, maybe you have a special price that's only good for 1 month. And the plant is like a geotag. It says, hey, this vendor is only approved for our Texas factory or our warehouse in Ohio.
Okay, so you've set up your vendors, you've curated your feed. Now for the magic. Just like Instagram has an algorithm that decides what to show you, SAP has its own procurement algorithm that uses your list to automatically find the perfect vendor every single time.
Here's how it works in 3 simple steps. First, someone in the company realizes they need something, so they create a purchase requisition. Then, SAP automatically kicks off a process called source determination. It scans your source list, looks at all the rules you set up, and then, boom, it picks the best vendor and generates the purchase order. No manual work, no guesswork.
Let's make this crystal clear with a quick example. Imagine your company builds cars, and you need to order a new batch of wheels for your main production plant.
So on your source list, vendor A is marked as fixed. They're your favorite, always reliable, best price. Vendor B is blocked because, well, they had a few too many late deliveries. And vendor C is just allowed, kind of like a backup. The moment that request for wheels goes in, the algorithm instantly picks vendor A, completely ignores vendor B, like they don't even exist, and just keeps vendor C on the back burner. It's effortless, it's accurate, and it's totally controlled.
So, why go through all this trouble to set up this vendor feed? The answer is simple. It's all about control and efficiency. Let's just take a quick look at the difference between a world with a source list and one without.
Without a source list, it's just pure chaos. Your purchasing team is scrambling, trying to figure out who to order from. That leads to mistakes, delays, and yeah, probably using some unapproved, way too expensive vendors. But with a source list, the whole process is automated, it's lightning fast, and it's always perfectly in line with your strategy. You get total control over your supply chain. And hey, here's a little insider tip for you, especially if you're ever in a job interview for this stuff. A really powerful feature is that you can make the source list mandatory for certain materials. This forces the system to only use your pre-approved suppliers. It gives you an airtight grip on your supply chain. If you mention that, it shows you really get the strategic power of this tool.
So, there you have it. The source list proves that managing a huge, global supply chain can actually be as intuitive as managing your social media feed. It's not just some boring data table. It's a strategic tool for building the right relationships. Makes you wonder, what if the future of all business software is less about spreadsheets and more about social networks? Follow for more SAP concepts made simple.